Hi Capricorns, this is your May 2016 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com. I'm sorry I'm a bit late with those horoscopes. I've been under the weather ever since the eclipses that fell exactly on the Lord of my health, and I've been 2 months. I don't know where I'm basically, but I'm not missing. I'm gonna be like a Capricorn, responsible, and I'm gonna shoot my videos and I'm gonna send them to you. Hopefully you find them useful. And hopefully, I'll be able to warn you about some influences and how to best approach the month of May. So there is a lot of supportive energy for you Capricorns this month, because there is a lot of planets in Earth signs, and you're an Earth sign, so there is like direct support towards you. So basically, the planets in the sky are forming an equilateral triangle. They're like 120 degrees from each other. The Sun. Basically the Sun, Venus and Mercury are on one end of the equilateral triangle, the other is Pluto and the other is Jupiter. So those Grand Trines, as we call them in astrology, they're very healing and very supportive energy. And they're falling in Earth signs exactly. So this is the most supportive Grand Trine. This Grand Trine will be felt most by the Earth signs, and that includes you Capricorn. So there will be like an upliftment of your spirit. There'll be like a raising of faith and optimism in you, because they trigger your self-houses. The self-houses is the first house. Basically, the first house is your sign. Capricorn is the 5th house, which shows the first house, the first house is the physical body, your path in life, your dharma, the path you're supposed to walk. The 5th house is your inspiration in life, what inspires you, what makes you feel joyful and happy, the things that you really love, your passions, the things that keeps you passionate and excited about life. Fun, love, children, flirting, amusements, hobbies, all those beautiful things, Inspiration of any sorts, creative output, we flow the most and we're happiest when we create something. That's why creativity is so important. And I don't have to tell you that, but it's all ruled by the 5th house, and there's such a trigger of your 5th house there, with 3 planets, with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus being there. So this energy should kind of start bubbling a bit more for you, even from the end of April, from the last 10 days of April, when the Sun already enters there, and you feel it towards I think throughout till the end almost of May. And such themes will become more predominant. You'll be thinking more about such topics, about how can you be more joyful, about how you can give yourself more joy from life, how you can feel more inspired in life. And some of you might even start brushing up on some old hobbies, for example, because Mercury, one of those planets in your 5th house, is moving retrograde. And Mercury is the planet of skills, and 5th house is the planet of hobbies and passions. Something maybe you haven't done, you haven't painted, but you used to be good as young, or you haven't sung, or you haven't danced, or you haven't been to a nightclub for a while. So you go and do something that you know you're good at, and you know that you enjoy, a hobby or a skill that you can brush up on, because retrograde planet means going back to the past and reviving something in some way. Or maybe some of you might be working on some creative project from the past, or not from the past, some creative project that you're completing and putting the final touches on, and that's Mercury. When it's retrograde, it helps you see things way more in detail, helps you be way more precise, because a retrograde planet becomes way more powerful. And if you've made some mistakes in those creative projects of yours, or some business that you're doing, because 5th house rules, if you have your own personal business, if you're a freelancer, for example, then Mercury retrograde will bring them to the surface. But that's nothing bad, because then you can fix them and improve them, and by the time Mercury starts moving direct, you'd have a way better complete creative project, or complete way better business of some sort, business idea that is complete as well. So towards June, you're going to start seeing the results of that. But initially it might be a little bit frustrating, because Mercury can bring something from, that has to be corrected, that has to be fixed there, that has to be worked extra hard on. Or if you're learning dancing or doing something, you might have to put extra effort to start doing it good again, because a retrograde planet requires 3 times more efforts than normal. That's why it's frustrating. frustrating. And it shows us the mistakes, because when Mercury is retrograde, it's super close to Earth, so Mercury's energy becomes super intense. And it's like overflow of Mercury. And Mercury retrograde does not allow, it's like the god Mercury comes closer to Earth and says, okay, let's see if you've been doing my Mercury things correctly. And if you haven't, let's correct them so you don't have problems with them. And for example, when I had Mercury retrograde in my 5th house last year, it happened. This is when I all of a sudden started my website, which is my business. 5th house is having your own private business, freelancing your own baby, something creative project that you bring up like a baby. So I'll give you just one example how it worked for me. And my website, I started when it went retrograde, people complaining that they can't find the services, that, I started getting other people's perspective that this website is not like the most productive one, is not the most functional one. And this is when I kind of broke down. I was angry, I cried, I hate this website, and out of frustration I decided to do a new website, which I launched 9-10 months later, actually quite a long time after that. But this is when I basically realized and saw from a different perspective this creative project of mine. And I saw the mistakes, because Mercury retrograde makes you become more aware from a different angle of those Mercury things, which is communication, information, all those things, especially if you're involved in some business and freelancing in such areas, anything to do with creativity, with communication, with information, with writing, with speaking, with traveling as well. Or with the structure of the how you present your business to the world, in a sense as well. You might have to revise it and change it, and you will improve it. And now my new website is making 3 times more money. So, thank you, Mercury retrograde, for making me cry for a week that I hate my new website. And then I was like, I hate Mercury retrograde. But that was the best thing that happened, And this is what can, if you're not big crybabies like me, and cry at the drop of a pin, you'd be... Obviously not, because you're Capricorns. you take things more in stride. And actually this Mercury retrograde has a lot of supportive aspects, as I said. From your 1st house, so you're more motivated as well with personal efforts to improve those things. And from the 9th house, you get inspiration and good counsel from others, which is the 9th house, good mentors and advisors in that direction. And 5th house also rules, it brings up topics of not exactly relationship, but dating and love, and how we do dating, how we open ourselves in love, how we open our heart chakra, what are the dating habits we have. And Mercury can help make you revise that in some positive cases, because it's a good Mercury retrograde this time. It's easy with lots of support. Old love flame can come into your life, someone that had a strong impact on your heart, or some strong inspiration on you from the past can return into your life to ignite some passion again, or to help you see your life from a different perspective, or to help you close the door if you haven't been able to close the door, or to help you, revise your dating ways, your dating approaches, and to improve them. Again, it's about improving, and to talk through things possibly that didn't have a closure in the past. For you on the emotional level, on the relationship level. And often, people can change their dating routines in some way after that. They can think a lot about that. They can read a lot of articles about dating and relationships, or a lot of articles about all other 5th house matters, and researching, because Mercury retrograde wants to get deeper. It gets more intense, more introverted. So you research about such things, read more articles about that, see it from a different perspective, and then when Mercury starts moving direct, you would have a more healthier and more possibly reconciliation of seeing things from a different perspective in regards to your love life, or in regards to your hobbies, in regards to, as I said, it can bring old hobbies to start, or even can bring new such ones that you have to work harder on to learn, because Mercury will give you this ability to learn a skill more in depth when it's retrograde. And even if it's a new skill that you started recently, again, Mercury is exactly that time to deepen it, to go deeper with that, or some creative project to intensify it, to complete it in some way, to correct it, to make it better. Or in relationships with children, because 5th house rules one's children. These might be revised in some way, how you treat your children, or your child might need a bit more, to put extra effort in something, so you have to be there supporting them. And when Mercury starts moving direct, again, the results are usually 3 times better. Even if they don't come immediately, they can come a few months later, but you've already started this process, during this period, from the last 10 days in April, big part of May, and June as well. Very likely you continue seeing this. So, that's one side of the thing, and you can find inspiration as well, something that to rekindle. Retrograde planet is about rekindling the passion in your life, rekindling how you give love to others and to yourself, rekindling how you express yourself, because the 5th house is where we're like children. We go and want to shine, to be center stage activity, to be noticed, and you probably will reorganize and decide and reanalyze and rethink how you're giving yourself more fun, how you're, being more joyful and enjoying yourself more, or some, relationships, as I said, or love relationships as well from the past possibly can appear, or to be reassessed, even if they don't appear physically, to be re-examined, reassessed, and you changing your mind and you finding some important news in regards to such matters of romance and love and stuff like that. And then you have Jupiter going direct in your 9th house, which is another house of inspiration and actually divine advice, divine counsel. So it's like the hope starts coming into your life from May. And Jupiter goes retrograde, direct. It's been retrograde for a few months in your house of hopes and wishes. And when you don't have anything to wake up for in the morning, life can be super dull. And when Jupiter starts moving direct there, you'll probably rediscover a reason to something to wake you up, something to inspire you, give you long-term goals. And if you're trying, for example, 9th house rules on the mundane level, on the spiritual level, it rules hopes, wishes, advice, counsel from wise people, from gurus, from teachers, or from just a godsend from someone. Some inspirational literature, some inspirational learning and reading something, or starting to learn something new, which gives you hope for the future, and which actually not only gives you hope for the future, but gives opportunity for you for the future. And Jupiter turning direct can unlock opportunities for higher education there. For if you've been working hard on getting accepted to university, when Jupiter turns direct, it can start happening. Jupiter 9th house is about travel, visas, documents, faraway countries and places. Jupiter retrograde there turning direct can start unlocking, if there were some complications in that area, unlocking such matters. So things are kind of starting to, despite the retrograde Mercury, they're starting to pick up, and just one thing to tell you, you have Mars and Saturn retrograde in your 12th house. So that's kind of a hidden house. So if there is an enemy, you're either self-sabotaging yourself with your own consciousness, secretively, something from the past self-sabotaging you. So your fears, your phobias, or there might be someone that is behind your back, maybe creating something. I don't want to scare you, I don't want to be a fear-mongering agent, but I've just observed it. 12th house is the house of those hidden enemies, or those underwater currents or stones that we're not aware of, and Saturn and Mars are trying to wedge them out with their retrograde movement, so you can find out some secrets and things that can be a little bit disconcerting and upsetting, but having them in the open when Saturn and Mars start moving direct from the middle of the summer can release a lot of fears from your life, and can release a lot of self-sabotaging or blocked things. And sometimes the 12th house, the house of things that are outside of our control. So some things might be happening that are a bit out of our control, that are a bit out of your control, Capricorns, that are a little bit like the finger of God, because this is the house, one of the houses of God, where karma is, and actions that we don't remember from the past, or that we've buried in our subconscious, that can be kind of bringing results to you now. So you might feel like, oh, how did I deserve that, or why is this, I cannot do anything about it, because the 12th house, we cannot do anything about it. It's out of our hands, it's this house of, as I said, karmic. So it's So the thing is not to struggle against it, it's like a finishing of some karma that is happening, this retrograde motion, and then they'll start moving direct, and from the summer onwards. For Mars already from from July onwards. So any such kind of a hidden things behind your back, secrets, they'll start untangling then, and you'd have a way, better. And there might be some expenses, because 12th house naturally rules expenses, things that we give away, or things that are taken away from us. It's considered the house of loss. So Saturn and Mars, they can provoke certain such matters. But again, everything has its own reason. They want to complete some cycle for you. They want to complete you from certain burden that you're carrying subconsciously. And even if there are some expenses, be prepared for some, unexpected such expenses. But don't make a drama out of it. Everyone is going through Mars retrograde and Saturn retrograde in some house of their horoscope, and some people it might be their health, others can be their relationships, so we're all in this together. So if we somehow more like this 12th house of the subconscious can trigger out some fears to some extent, but you're also having, as I said, Jupiter is starting to move direct, so you're starting to get support more, you're starting to get more uplifted as well, more, this is the 9th house where Jupiter is going direct is the house of more luck as well. So even though there is these difficult influences in your 12th house, something is brewing behind the surface, behind your back, or even you might be doing something behind the back or working on something psychologically, because the 12th house is a psychological house, but you're receiving a lot of support from the other planets. So thank you very much, Capricorn. Hope you enjoyed this prediction. Follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me, or follow me at Astrolada.com, where I'm giving a lot of free readings from my psychics people can win, or from my astrologers, or from myself. I give once a month a free reading to someone who is lucky to win it. And follow me then. We do competitions, we do lots of free information on astrology. I do a lot of seminars that I announce there, so if you want to watch private seminars where you can communicate with me and ask me things, you can tune in there. Astrolada, my Facebook is Astrolada, and follow me. Thank you very much, and keep faith. Things are gonna start getting better and better. You get a lot of support in May. Thank you.